Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today for a morning of the vampire Claudia and the vampire Madeline. We didn't deserve you in this world. And so, yeah, guys, this is going to be a therapy filled episode. We're going to be here for each other because I can't afford therapy and I can't afford them bills. So, we guys are going to be each other's therapists here on the episode. And so, with that, guys, introduction. Welcome to my safe gaming. I hear an echo. Is it just me?
No, I hear an echo too.
I'm like, who's that coming from? But anyway, that guys. So we are here to talk about episode 7 of Interview with the Vampire. What just happened? Frankie disappeared, but the echo went, so it's coming from her. But we're here to talk about episode 7 of Interview with the Vampire. It is called I Could Not Prevent It. And we know who said that line. And I definitely got some comments on that guy on the title of the episode. Okay, echo's gone. But yeah, I Could Not Prevent It. Episode 7. It is the penultimate episode of Interview with the Vampire. Yeah, guys, this is a tough one. But before we get into that, of course, as you guys see, I'm filled with my vampire trio here on the live panel. We got fantastic Frankie, Amanda Castrollo. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. They're both in the same time zone this time. They're both in LA. Yay. They're both in the past. I'm in the future. So Amanda, introduce yourself to the world.
Hello, my name is Amanda Castrollo, aka Amanda Just Vibin'. Pretend this is a cape. I'm just cold. And I love talking about movies, TV shows, just making chaotic commentary videos about stuff that I love to watch. And I also love vampirism and gay stuff. So happy Pride Month. And I cried a lot this episode.
Oh yeah, it is still Pride Month. I forgot. I'm damn.
It is still Pride Month.
I'm a terrible.
He's
gay.
the worst.
He's
the worst.
I was like, oh yeah, it's still. But I'm wearing the shirt, so I'm still somewhat prepared. But with that, Frankie, let the
What's
people
up,
know.
everyone? My name is Fantastic Frankie. I do deep dives on all shows under the sun, like not just like nerdy stuff. And I do bang with queer stuff. I'm an ally, so. This month I'm here, especially for this very gay show, which I have to say is one of. I feel like the queerness here is such a part of the story that I'd be forgetting they gay. Does that make sense?
No.
I'd be like, oh yeah, they're gay.
You gonna be like somebody gonna be like Lestat and come check you and be like, what was that?
Yeah, I mean, well, not Lestat. Lestat's bi, but like.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like how you check that homophobe in the audience. Granted, I'm not saying, but you were like, excuse me.
He said, "You ain't shit. Your mother ain't shit.
Gay.
You ain't
like,
never gonna be.
Don't forget.
You ain't never gonna." I'm saying is, I think it's queer without being like in your face queer in the way that like Insecure is very Black without being every second like. Black power. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I will
like
say
it's more so it's normalized.
Yes,
it's very normalized,
which is crazy because it's a period piece. How do you make gay stuff like
nothing but vampires? They're not interacting with humans.
People forget also like queer people have always existed and there have always been queer communities. Like they basically just went to gay park all the time to make out like in season 2. You know what I mean? Like it's serious. Basically, that's what it was. Like so, it's just I think it's kind of maybe like a window into like those communities as well, like the queer people of the past. Because like, they always existed. It's just that they were never put to the forefront, and their stories weren't told because it was taboo.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, not even just so much in terms of the gayness, but the quality of this show, especially as we're coming to the end of this season, and more than likely we're not going to get a season 3 until like 2 years from now or something like that. The way this show has been firing on all cylinders, it's honestly making it hard to watch other shows.
No, it's so good. Like it's honestly like
go ahead.
I said in 2022 when it first came out, like this is probably like one of the best pieces of television, like period, I've seen like a long time. And then like still like every episode has been hitting, not one slouch, not one dud.
I said earlier, like every single actor on this show, they're acting their damn pussy off.
They're
acting their damn pussy off. And like, even something as great as House of the Dragon. I love House of the Dragon, but even watching, I'm still just like, damn, but this ain't Lestat though. Like, this ain't Sam Reed.
And this is what I was talking about to our friend Ante the other day. I definitely think that I think the Fire and Blood, if you compare Fire and Blood with Interview with the Vampire, the books, then yes, like things are different. But House of the Dragon, the characters themselves, I don't think are as robust or written as well as the characters in Interview with the Vampire. And I agree. I love House
of the Dragon so far.
I love it. But like someone like Allison, who like things are just happening to her. She's a huge hypocrite. Like we don't understand. Versus like someone like Santiago, who like, or Armand, who I don't like, but I'm like, I feel you. I understand where you're coming from.
It's so funny too, because it almost feels like watching, not in a bad way, it feels like watching reality TV, which is insane.
Yes.
They're monsters, they're vampires. But like dead ass, I'm like, this is Maury Povich, bro. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, oh my god. Like it's so entertaining and they feel so human. And it's so funny that they feel so human because they are in like all actuality monsters.
And not even just that, but like being at this whole season is the whole idea of the Théâtre de Vampire. In a lot of ways, it does feel like we're watching live theater. And so you're connecting to it way more as an audience. And it almost feels like, you know, you get to scream out and yell out to the audience and to the actors and they'll hear you. Like it kind of feels that way, especially this episode.
This was like, it just keeps getting better. And I don't know how the hell they keep doing it.
So
I just wish I was in that circle jerk in the writer's room because I know it was crazy. I know they finished and they was like, well, let's celebrate. Like it had to be wild up in there. I agree. I think some of it is the books, but this adaptation, I feel like they've added in and weaved in so many different themes that are different than the books. And they've added a lot of color. And I feel like this episode really showed me like everyone sucks but Claudia.
Oh my god. Okay.
And Madeline.
Madeline.
Okay, Madeline. I know we have to talk about it later. We don't want to get like ahead of ourselves, but like I remember texting like Nick earlier today. I was just like, I hope that she haunts this narrative and I hope that she like makes these men's lives miserable for the rest of their lives, like from beyond the grave. Like I hope that she gets everything she's ever wanted in her life because oh my god, Claudia, like, and it's so sad too because like it's weird. It was weirdly like the best case scenario ending, and I don't know how to explain that without sounding like a crazy person, but let's go on.
And yeah, like
I feel you there for sure.
Yeah. And obviously, if you watched the 1994 movie, if you know of the book, you knew this was happening. You knew this was going to happen the second Claudia was introduced in this show. You knew what her fate was going to be.
I mean, she's doomed.
She's doomed. She's doomed from the beginning.
It still hurt.
That's what I was going to say, but it still hurt.
I think it's brilliant too, because it's like, again, for like longtime fans that know the book and know the movie, to still make it impactful and to still make you care about a character who has like a predetermined fate. That's like a hard thing to do. And they did it. I still cried. I was like, am I going to cry? And I was like, oh yeah, I did.
But an added layer to that, and somewhat of the brilliance of the writing in the fact that they made Claudia and Louis black.
Yes.
And they're on this trial of a mostly white vampire coven. Yeah, there are other races, like Armand is an Indian. You have Famine, the two Asian father and son. Like, yeah, you have other races, but for the most part, it's a mostly white coven in a mostly white audience.
Yeah,
and they're putting these two black people on trial during the era of Jim Crow, and like what Claudia said, it's not a trial; it's a stoning.
I wish she said lynching. I wish the writers doubled down because we had already seen so much stuff, especially pertaining to race. I really wish that Claudia said, "Nah, this is a lynching."
I do. I wish she said that too, but all of that also made it harder to watch as well. It's just like,
Well, and I said that when they first gave her the show, I was like, I'm watching a minstrel show. Like that whole Bernie thing, it was like her embarrassed, her shucking and jiving, and she knew it, and she felt that way too. She was like, I don't like this. I don't like the way you're portraying me. I don't want to be this, and it was really hard to watch. It was definitely really, really difficult to watch.
And so getting into the episode, the beginning, talk about being difficult. We knew this moment was going to be difficult for Louis and Armand. Like you could see, even in the staging of it, because the whole season they're sitting close to each other, they're finishing each other's sentences. Even Daniel was kind of like, "What the fuck? Like, what is this? Like, what are y'all doing?" Like, they're like, "Oh, we've been together for 70 years, so of course we're loving each other. We're finishing each other's sentences." But this episode, and since episode like 5, they've been sitting further and further apart.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel that in this episode where now they're sitting the furthest away from each other. And it's because they're remembering, this whole incident and tragedy that has happened in Paris. And jumping ahead a little bit, I don't think this marriage is making it past this season.
Oh, fuck no.
I think Louis is going to snap. Kind of like how he snapped at Daniel. I think he's going to snap again next week.
Do you think he's going to snap at Daniel or at
I don't know if it's going to be at Daniel. It might be at Armand, or he might just be snapping in general. Just like,
he's already kind of breaking. Like, he already started throwing shit and getting like violent again, and just like.
So yeah, so when he threw that glance, when he was like, "This is hard," I was like, "Oh no,
yeah.
Louis about to snap."
No,
Louis about to snap again.
Yeah, and I think that was something I just started rewatching because we got our friend to watch the show, and I totally forgot. Maybe because I watched the show so long ago. Well, like a year or so ago. So I was watching season 2 kind of fresh, and season 2 frames Louis almost exclusively as this like not a victim, but like, oh, woe is me, life is so hard. And when I rewatched the first couple episodes of season 1, Louis is violent, impulsive, mean.
No, literally, like I remember, like there's one thing that stuck out from season 1. I'm like, he turned the alderman into a fucking fence decoration.
Yeah, even before then, like the third.
But even before that, he
pulled
a knife on his brother.
Yeah, he pulled a knife on his brother.
And that's why Lestat was like, "You could be a monster," because he was like, "I just saw you. Your brother is mentally challenged, and you pulled a blick on him, no problem." Because
and then he even confessed with your church. He's like, "Oh, I take advantage of girls that are on their own on the street, and I use them for profit." Like he admits that he's a bad person already, and it's like, and also I've been saying like I've been knew Louis a freak. Like he's been like off.
So this is my question: do you guys believe that Lestat killed Louis' brother?
No,
especially after seeing this.
No, I don't think so. No, I still don't.
I wouldn't want it. I think the impact and the story is contingent on, not contingent, but like having Lestat be a part of that death takes a lot of weight. And then once again, frames Louis as this perpetual victim versus like him being a lot. Every one of his family members went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They all went crazy. Some of it could have been mental damage, but some of it was the way that he was interacting with all of them.
Drama.
Did his father kill himself too?
I'm not sure how his father passed.
I know his
dad was sick, I think.
Passed. Oh, he was sick. Okay.
But yeah, not sure. I'm still listening to the end of the road. To be fair, I was debating playing "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday," but then it's gonna get copyright strike.
There was another.
Pour one out for the homies.
From Best Man Holiday. I've been hearing that all the time. Yeah.
I
don't know the words, and I'm on the phone with 2 singers, so I'm not gonna go that hard.
But his mom blamed him for Paul's death too. But his mother was also homophobic, so
his mom was.
She wasn't homophobic when Lestat paid for that Euro trip for her daughter. She was like, "Oh, Lestat," and then once Louis was gone a little bit more, and I think they weren't supporting her the way that they were before, all of a sudden Lestat was a bad man. Oh, and also the death of her son. But when Lestat first came there, she was all up on Lestat.
She was enamored. She was enamored by Lestat.
But here's the thing, though. She did kind of like say that he was overdressed and shit. And she did kind of like poke at him and like.
I thought it was because he was white. I thought she was joking that he was white.
Well, yeah, that's part. I think that was part of it, but also like part of it, like even in mentally, she was like, "Oh, like." he does his nails now that he's been around this guy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like she already had like thoughts about Lestat, and then like when Louis turned, it started in her eyes looking more feminine because she was like, "Oh, I fucking knew it." It was that like, yeah.
But I thought a piece of that was the death, right? Like she had after the death of her son, you know, like the relationship between
she had met
her
Lestat
and Louis,
before Paul died.
but she wasn't talking shit about Lestat until after he died. So like even like
after Louis turned, and left.
Yeah, because Louis doesn't turn until after Paul dies.
Yeah.
But the thing about this episode in particular, because like this is one of the rare moments that we're getting to see the story told not only from Louis' perspective, but from somebody else's perspective as well. That also happened when Daniel interviewed Armand when he first met Lestat. We got Armand's perspective of Lestat, and then in this episode, we're also getting Armand telling part of the story from his perspective of the theater. And this also kind of goes back to something that I also said earlier with one of my reviews. I think it was just me and you, Frankie, where I mentioned that Louis almost, and I get that the character was written originally as a white man, but it's like, yeah, Louis is almost kind of like a Karen in many ways. Like everything that he does, it's everybody else's fault. It's never.
He never takes accountability for.
He never takes accountability. Like it seems like the greatest weakness for a vampire, even with Armand to some extent, it's not fire, it's not sunlight, it's accountability. Like the moment you call them out on their shit, they get mad and want to lash out. Because even when you got to find out, jumping forward a little bit, of the circumstances surrounding how Claudia was actually made, he was just like, Lestat told me about it, and I was like, that's not how it happened. That's not, you was there. Like, what do you mean that's not how it happened? Then he's like, wait a minute. 74 years later, he's like, wait a minute, that is how it happened. And I'm just like, see, you want to blame everybody but yourself.
And I think some of that entitlement, we talked about it too, is that, yes, Lestat is Black in America, but he was a wealthy Creole man in New Orleans. And that's something that even the white men sometimes have to check him on, right? The one that he strings up, he's like, in his mind, he's thinking, this guy hides behind his Creole heritage. So in that small microcosm of New Orleans, he was not experiencing being a Black man in the same way that other people in America was. And then he went to France where Jim Crow didn't exist. And so he existed from being a light-skinned man with money and influence to being an actual, like technically a demigod or something to that nature. And so for him, I think he's registered. And I said in my video today, like, I feel like Louis was never mad about the race thing. I think he was mad that he had to subscribe to it still. So like when he put up that sign that said no colors only, and then like
no whites allowed.
No whites allowed.
Yeah, and then I had sex with Lestat that night. I was like, or even like he never had security around his brothel, and his whole reasoning was, I'm the security that we need. And yet he incited a riot, and he didn't go to protect the people during that riot. He came in the aftermath, and that's when he saved Claudia. And that let me know, because even Lestat was like, hey, you killed this random white guy. You don't think that's going to do anything? And he was like, nah, it'll be all right. Like,
Louis stays not listening, because like Lestat was also like, we cannot turn a child. This is not going to end well. First, it's illegal. And then like, second, it's also a child. What do you think's gonna happen, Louis? And then Louis was scream crying, Lestat, please give me a baby. It was just
like he was warned. He was warned at every single moment.
Like, hello?
I need you to leave. I know you want to be here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, get out of here. Like you ain't even on season 2 yet.
Please get out of here. I want you to experience this the way we experience. Get out of here. Can you boot him?
I can't. I can only block his. I can only block his comments. I can't block him from the.
Dang, you lucky. I take get up out of here.
But yeah, get up. Yeah, get up out of here. let the tail seduce you, as Louis said.
Let the tail seduce you. But yeah, I love seeing that. Like everybody sucks. Louis sucks especially, and I was team Louis crazy.
Facts. I was for like. Until I would say until like maybe episode 5. Then I was just like, wait a minute. But after this episode, I was just like, now I'm like full probably gun ho team Lestat.
No, because here's the thing. Like, I'm like, dude, I knew like Louis was ill, and then seeing it, like seeing all the things play out, because like we saw. Remember when Claudia turned like in her episode where she was narrating it, so we only saw things from her point of view.
Yeah.
And then also in episode 5 of last season, we only saw the fight in her point of view also. So that we saw the fight in her point of view, and then we saw it in Louis' point of view after Lestat dropped him. But we never saw what happened in between. And then another thing that we saw in that in the first season during the fight, if you remember, Claudia looks into a mirror and the mirror is cracked. Like there's like as there's like the argument happening in the background, you hear like them destroying the house and like throwing each other. Claudia deliberately looks into a mirror and the mirror is like partially shattered.
I realized that too. So like the turmoil that we were seeing was being framed by Claudia.
It was being framed by Claudia, who favored Louis. So through her eyes, Louis was the victim, but she didn't hear or see what happened in the room while they were fighting.
Yeah, and then we're finally getting to see what happened in the fight from Lestat's point of view. And we're finding out that, Lestat was holding back the whole time. He didn't want to hurt Louis. He kept saying, stop.
And
Louis.
then also,
and Louis just kept, like he bashing his head in the...
A homie pointed this out too, that you saw in the previous season, Lestat during that fight was barely scathed. In this one, his face was fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of that could have been by the time he got back down, he was healed.
Would it heal that fast though? Because he was even scraped up when Louis like fucked him up in the
his house. In Claudia's mind, he was fine.
He was fine.
Because even Louis was kind of like, "You're not gonna beat me. You can't beat me. Look at your face." It's like he's like, "This is nothing. This is nothing. Like I'm holding myself back. I'm stronger than you, and I'm trying. Like I'm not fighting. Like he's not even touching. I'm like, I'm not fighting you. I'm not fighting you." But Louis just kept pushing, and then when he just was like, "I'm gonna cut your head. I'm gonna watch."
That shit was nuts.
That's when he snapped. And Louis is just unhinged. When he was just like, ah, and the close up, like this show was just like the cinematography, the score, like
weird,
all of it.
Unhinged like laugh. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it almost kind of like it was almost kind of like the Joker.
Louis was moving like that this whole time, but every time that we've seen him move like that was for everyone but Lestat. So while Louis was telling the story, he was moving like that with like white men. And so we villainized them, and we were like, yeah, go do your thing, Louis. And we didn't think about like how unstable this character is and his anger issues.
One of the first things he says about Lestat is that he wants to kill him and he wants to be him.
Yes, that's what I was like. Whoa! Like when he meets him, he's like,
when they first met,
he's like, he's both enamored.
Miss Lily.
Yeah, he was also a little homophobic too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Lestat heard that, right?
Yeah, and I'm like,
he
bro,
was homophobic because he was in the closet.
That's the thing where I'm like, one of the first things he says about Lestat was that he wanted to kill him and he wanted to be him. And he's been on some freak shit. That's what I've been saying.
And
like
he wanted
he
to sleep with him
at
the same time.
And then we see it happen.
So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, going real quick. So Daniel Malloy, honestly, every single episode that transpires, he keeps making me go like, this man has a death wish. He keeps saying, like, he told the Tal Masker, he's like, I want to live. Can you get me out of here? But the way he keeps pushing and jibing at these, like, he's like, oh, Armand sold you out. He did that. And like, Louis just like, I'm talking. And like, I was just like, Armand, like now, I mean, not Armand, Daniel, read the room. Now's not the time to be your normal conniving and snippy self. Like, I'm like, this man has a death wish. Clearly. I don't know. Did y'all feel? I was like, what would you do? What would you do in this situation?
Go hang out with vampires in Dubai. Like
what
as
else can you
much
do?
as I love vampires, like after 1973, I'm not fucking around and finding out again. No, thank you. Like,
but it's like, but even with that, like you knew Louis snapped at you already. Though. This isn't the first. Like you already got that memory, and you have more of it back now that you remembered everything again. Tread carefully, bro. Like,
but this is your chance to die with a legacy beyond that far exceeds who you are. Like Dan has a legacy, but it's going to fizzle out after time. Like he's a journalist.
True, but you got to get it to the publisher first. If you die during the interview,
he's figuring it out, and it sounds like too that they'll publish it for him. Like Louis wants this story out. I just gotta finish it. I'd be there. Like, what else I gotta do? I got Parkinson. My wife don't like me. Yeah,
my wife don't like me. The wife, which one?
But he still might become a vampire at the end of it.
Do you think he's gonna
become a vampire when I'm that fucking old?
Okay, no, but they did drop a little like tidbit earlier about.
I mean, how old is he? Like him and Santiago probably like the same age.
No, Santiago's younger and finer than Dan.
Yeah, I'm like Santiago's kind of ripped though. Like,
stop it. If I look like Santiago, I'd be tight, but not that bad. But don't be turning me with wrinkles, and now I gotta navigate the world as an older woman for eternity. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, but he's not like old enough.
Yes.
It's just the Parkinson's that's messing him up.
No. Right now, you go ahead.
Oh no!
I pull up him on the red carpet because he don't got Parkinson's in real life. Pull him up.
Wait. Are we talking about Eric Bogosian? Stop! No, wait. Don't bring Eric into this.
I love him. Hey, excellent actor. I've seen him when he's young. Very handsome man.
Young. And granted, it's not him, but young Daniel. I hit.
Young Van. Your Valentine
show
said
Daniel?
I would. Sorry, don't apologize.
Wait, what?
What happened?
Someone said I would.
I would. Sorry.
Wait. Here's the thing. Daniel's cute, but I'm like, is he bi though, or is he gay, suffering with compet?
I think Daniel's bi. I think Daniel's bi.
Okay.
What's the second thing you said, Amanda?
I said, is he gay, but like suffering from like compet?
What's compet?
Like compulsive, like heterosexuality, where it's like you only marrying girls because that's what people tell you to do.
But then he's had sex with them, so it's you never enjoy sex.
Yeah, but like is he bi? Is he gay? Like what? Is he bi?
I think he's closer to what you're saying
because even if he was gay, just because you have sex with a woman doesn't mean you can't get enjoyment from it.
Yeah, doesn't mean
it's still a whole.
Maybe he just doesn't feel like romantic feelings toward like because he liked Alice. Like he said, he liked Alice.
Like I could have sex with a woman and enjoy it, but at the same time, I'd still be wanting to be with a man at the end of the day. Like
interesting. I cannot have sex with a woman. Like I'm
bisexual.
If that tongue was down there, you'd be like, wait a minute, wait.
I don't know. Maybe.
Like you would gain pleasure from it, but it's not something that you would want to do. Like it's not.
Yeah.
So like that, so it'd be the same thing. Like I could arrive having sex with a woman, but I'd still have feelings and want to be. Granted, like I said, I don't know about the woman arriving because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But like,
first of all, you'd be on the same playing field of
most heterosexual men.
They don't know either. They don't know it. We giving full tutorials.
But like, all right. But yeah, because like, but I'd still like. At the end of the day, I'd want to still be with a man. I'd still long to be with. I still think about being with the. But if I'm with a man, I don't have no desire or interest or want or want to be with a woman. So
that's fair.
So I mean, Daniel could still, But anyway, so he's pushing. So we see that there. The fort. Why am I drawing a blank on my words? I can't talk all of a sudden, but. The rat box. That's what I was. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. They put Claudia in the rat box.
For what reason?
Because they're cruel.
Burn her alive.
These vampires are vicious.
I knew they were gonna put her in that rat box. I thought that's how they were gonna kill her, but clearly, that's not enough to kill her. But it still hurt that she was the only one that they put in.
Yeah, the only one they put in that rat box.
Yeah.
And again, it goes to that whole like lynching, especially with her being a black woman. Black women usually being treated worse.
And it's not just that black women are treated worse. Like she's representing someone who is hated for things she can't control, right? Like
she can't do anything about that.
Yeah, and she's the purest of all of them. So I think that's probably why they hated her the most and tortured her the most because technically she is an abomination.
But what are you saying? She's a purist. What does that mean?
Like in terms of like all these vampires, she's the best one.
Like, in what
Like
way?
in terms of like not being good, she's not good, but she's the goodest in terms of like, you know how they say like morality, like chaotic good, chaotic evil, neutral. Like she's evil, she's a murderer, but in terms of like vampires, she's the best one. Like she's the goodest one. That's probably not the best word, but
I don't think so. I think that she's the most honest of all of them, but I think
the one that's definitely the most for real about everything.
But I think she's just as bad as everyone else. Even like
so this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying she's good.
She
She's still a murderer. She's still a psycho. She's still evil. She's Lestat's child. But I'm saying out of all the vampires, she's not like they're like pure evil.
I don't know. She wrote her diary in Lestat's blood. That's cruel. That's evil. She was breaking rules for the sake of breaking it. Like she is not a good person.
She like collected body parts and shit.
Yeah, she's not young Claudia too. But I do think what we like about her is that she's honest, right? Like she's journaling what seems like what is it? Oh, and then they wrote it twice too.
Yeah, she wrote it twice. Made sure she took again. I'm not saying she's good. I'm not saying she's gonna stand next to Superman. I'm not saying that.
I'm saying is she's the same amount as bad as Santiago as anyone. She's just as conniving. She's just as bad. We just fuck with her because we like her. But like, I think if you're like on the scale on who's better, who's worse, she's just as bad as everyone else, right? Like she lies. She's manipulative, she cheats, It's just we fuck with Claudia because of the three, she's not pretending to be a victim. She's not pretending to be someone she's not.
And also too, like she's kind of like evil women's rights. Yes, I support women's rights and wrongs. God forbid women have hobbies. And so and also with Claudia too, where it's like you also have a level of sympathy for her because it's like she really had no choice and autonomy in this matter. At all. Like she was on the brink of death.
I mean, she did take like let's say she did take a titty. So
she took a titty.
She was a serial killer.
Yeah, that's a serial killer. That little boy, y'all. She
drank a guy.
Lestat too. Let's not act like she was. Let's not act like
Lestat was choking on his own blood. She went
right. But even before then, right? They were alienating Lestat. That's something I saw even when I was Team Louis. I was like, it's not right the way you guys are talking to each other. Yeah. And he feels it. He feels that you guys are communicating. And they weren't low. They were just staring at each other like this. And Lestat was like, oh, so fuck me then. Like,
I'm like, y'all weren't subtle at all.
Right.
You sucked at like being
she needed to talk to Santiago. Santiago made you feel like he was talking directly to you and he having a conversation in the back.
But no, Santiago, I loved him during this episode, and this is how this is why I love these vampires. And even though there wasn't really anything like fully funny and comedic about this episode, it was a hard episode.
I still chuckled,
but there were some moments that I laughed, the argument when Louis and Lestat were talking about Claudia. He was like, "You gotta like his line delivery." He was like, "You gotta drain her, Louis. Like, what are you doing?
You drain her first, Louis." Yeah.
Or like when Santiago was like, "I'm about to break the fifth," when Lestat was going off script. But the thing that I find the most ridiculous and why I think these vampires, like, I'm like, you could tell they're theater gays.
I love them.
The fact that they had time to write a script, stage this play, rehearse costumes, wardrobe, create flyers, send this script overseas for Lestat to get it so he can learn his lines and all that other stuff. Props. The fact that they had time to do all of this.
The animation is 1945. That's what we're not talking about. They got animation.
And that too. And the fact that they got a whole animation sequence going on with the projecting reel. Like the fact that they had the time to come up with all of this.
They're vampires though. They could do that shit with super speed, right?
I was just like, what? That part I laughed at. That I laughed at.
Super speed.
But still, like the fact that they had time to do all of this.
You do this, but like a million times.
And they the script, they said they communicated it through his mind.
Oh yeah, they just probably read it to him and he was like, "What do you think? Hit your ride."
Even if they read it to him in his mind, you still got to be like, all right, this is your next line. Okay, then I say this, then this is your line.
Yeah,
the dedication.
Well, she was gone for how long? A month or so?
No, they were gone for what, 6?
I think they were gone for 6 months.
They were gone for half a year.
Time. I think that's enough time.
I think they were working. No, I think they were working on it beforehand because, and this is something I feel like I don't think Armand plotted or had anything to do with this, but I think he knew.
Do you think that's why he left the coven?
I think that's part of it, yeah. Because also remember, he said they gave me a choice. But then also, if you remember from last week, the scene that I loved and I made that video about when he was like, "Take off your clothes. Read. I'm gonna read it to you. Read me the whatever while I fuck you or whatever." Remember, he said Sam sent me some new script. He sent me a new script, and he wanted me to read and go over it. What new script was he talking about? But for this.
The script that they were rehearsing.
But one that they were rehearsing in Santiago was fake roasting Sam over. And he was making quote unquote revisions.
Okay, because I'm thinking, I was like, was he sending him this script?
No. Because here's the thing, if he would be reading that shit out loud, I'm pretty sure Louis would stop mid-stroke, what the fuck are you reading?
Well, no, I don't think he read it. I don't think he read it. I think he just because part of me, I'm just like, Armand had to. I feel like Armand knew, or he didn't really fight hard enough. Because when they show Armand in that little booth, and they're like, "Oh, Sam was watching me and blocking me and whatever, so I couldn't escape. I was just as much a captive as he was." I was like, "Bull fucking shit, bullshit."
Or he was trying to figure out how to save Louis, and he was like, "If I killed this guy guarding me, I could kill but so many, and they're gonna kill Louis while I'm killing these vampires that are coming at me."
And also, he's still, he's 500 years old, but he's still one guy.
He's still one guy. And Louis couldn't run. So,
Louis couldn't run, so we have to worry about
He's one guy that can stop time. We've seen him do that with all the vampires.
But that was a couple people at Lestat. And then Lestat's in the room. Lestat also is a scary motherfucker that can do the same thing. They can start X-menning off in the Theatre des Vampires.
But part of me is also wondering, too, because... And I wish I could pull it up, but then my computer's going to freeze and stop. But and I don't know if it was just because he's white or if this was a thing, but there's a moment where if you look at Lestat's hand while he's talking, it looks bruised. So part of me is because I was also wondering, what's his angle in this whole thing, especially when you jump to 1973, when he's like, "Tell Louis I still love him," yada, yada, yada. And I do think at the end of the day, despite the hatred between Louis and Lestat, and then also Lestat and Claudia, I still think there's some level of love there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't necessarily think he wanted them to die. And so part of me is also wondering, is Lestat somehow being controlled and coerced? Maybe even by Armand, because who else would be powerful enough to control him? Because I was like, his hand looks like it's bruised.
I think we're trying to absolve Lestat as some of the terrible things he's doing and put it on Armand because Armand sucks. I think both things could be true. I think Lestat could not 100% want Louis to die, but still had a part in this lynching. And I think Armand could have not orchestrate everything, but maybe he didn't work his hardest to save them. But at the same time, why would he? Louis don't even like Claudia. That's another thing. Y'all want him to risk his life for Claudia?
He don't even like. So why am I risking my life for Claudia when Louis don't want Claudia here? So let's get rid. I wouldn't be working that hard. It's true. He don't. When Louis was but he don't want her to. He don't want her to die though. He want her to go off and be Madeline.
He was having some deep, dark thoughts. He was saying she was a mistake. What does that mean?
But hold on, really quick. Let me address this super chat. Thank you so much, Coco Hoyne, for the $5 super chat. This is all sus. We still only have Louis' fragmented account and Armand, who's jealous of Lestat. Have Claudia's diaries, but we don't know this. But we don't know this woman. So I mean, But we did kind of read. We did read from Claudia's perspective as well. So we got different.
Yeah.
We got different perspectives besides Louis and Armand's. We also
I wish
got
we
Claudia.
knew what pages were cut out.
Yeah, I feel like they're maybe going to address that maybe eventually. I don't know, but we also know, or supposedly next season is going to be Armand or Lestat's perspective. So we're also going to get some of that as well.
Yeah,
because I remember when Louis was like, "Oh, sorry," when Louis was like, "Oh, imagine how like happy we'll be without the burden of her," and then she asked, "Was that true?" And he's like, "Does it matter?" I'm like, "You could have just said it wasn't fucking true."
Yeah, fact.
Like that's your sister daughter. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. He don't give two fucks about her. And even when she came back with Madeline, he was annoyed at that dinner. He was like,
here's the thing.
Glad you're happy.
I think he loves Claudia. I think again, like it's one of those things where it's like, because kind of like with like a real family where it's like that's his daughter, but they've had such a strained relationship. Again, maybe he didn't want her to die, but like again, he said like. He really did tell her, like, "Oh, does it matter if it's true or not?" He couldn't even validate her.
I think the thing too is we keep on saying she's his daughter, but they're closer to siblings. You know what I mean? And I think she calls him like Papa Louis, but I think that's because like
I think it's a weird because they're vampires. I think it's a weird like it's even like on the social media accounts they call it like they put sister/daughter. Because like it's weird that's just what it is. Like we're like unrelated but related. Like you know in iCarly like in the reboot where they were just like how do you have each other on the phone? It's like brother dad and it's like sister daughter like basically like that like.
But I think
how they are.
Yes, he loved Claudia, and I think he grew to love Claudia more. But his love his admiration and connection to Claudia. First of all, it had nothing to do with Claudia. We saw that
it had everything to do with Lestat.
That Lestat asked or Louis asked Claudia to be made into a vampire. Had absolutely nothing to do with her. He just wanted something to make himself feel better. The reason he wanted to turn Claudia into a vampire is because she looked at him and called him an angel. She called me a black angel. So she made himself feel good, and so he wanted to try to do something. To like, so I had nothing to do with it. Could have been any kid there. He'd beg to ask Lestat to turn him or her into a vampire. Like, and it kind of reminds me of like in real life where people would have kids thinking that it'll get that person to stay, like it'll trap them. Oh, if I have his baby, like he can't leave me, he'll never leave me. Or if I have the baby, it'll fix our relationship. It has nothing to do with the kid.
No, literally, like he was like crying at Lestat, like literally crying, being like she'd be our baby girl, like she'd be
my daughter, and then also like being hella manipulative. He's like, because remember, Lestat was like he threatened me with loneliness, and y'all don't understand like vampire loneliness, especially when you're immortal. You might as well be dead. That's why that vampire chick threw herself in the fire. Like she's been lonely for all this time, especially because they killed that reverend. That was like her son person or whatever. So she was like,
I thought he was a new spawn though.
Huh?
I thought that vampire was like a new spawn, like to feed that loneliness. Like to your point,
she wasn't strong enough to make a good one. That's what happened.
And that's why he looked like that.
Like if basically like if Claudia, remember when Claudia would try to make them and they'd be fucked up looking and half dead? Like when they're like successful, they're fucked up looking half dead and just kind of shamble around like a zombie. And like that's probably like what happened. Like she tried to make a companion and she wasn't strong enough herself to make one.
So the fact that he was dragging her on the floor like that by one arm, which is like that right there tells me everything. Like he never, like it was never about her.
Like
it was never about her.
Like a doll.
Yeah, she was basically like he talked about how they were props during this stage play. She was nothing but a prop to him.
No, and they remember like, they used to dress her up like a doll, basically too. Like
they did used to dress her up like a doll. But I think some of it was he wanted to dress like a doll. But you're right, like it reads different because she's not 5.
Yeah.
Right? Like
she was 14 and they were putting ribbons and bows in her hair.
Until she was out. She had on the plaid fit. I was like, this is the antithesis of ribbons. She was fly, man. She was fly. When once she got her own fits, I felt like she was very fly.
Yeah, like because she was a grown woman and she wanted to like show like what she wanted to wear herself. But
And
like,
yeah,
remember
Claudia
when she
even
got
said it was
frustrated looking
never
at a
about her.
closet when she was 19 and she saw that they were still buying her fucking doll clothes. Like,
Yeah, he said Claudia was a Pikachu.
oh god,
Honestly,
they never let her turn into a Raichu.
But nah, to be fair, Ash be treating Pikachu better than how Louis was treating Claudia.
And that's the thing too, is like he always picked somebody else over Claudia, something else over Claudia every single time. And she said it over and over, like you'll pick literally anyone over me.
And so I think with that, I think Louis did love her, but for whatever reason, he didn't want to be responsible for her anymore. He didn't want to be the one always there, always having to check, always having to watch her, always having to protect her because she can't protect herself, being that she's trapped in that 14-year-old body. He basically got bored. He got bored with her.
He said,
and that's why he was completely willing to shun her off to Madeline.
He was like, "Oh, like, are you gonna ever do anything? Like, are we ever gonna go anywhere where you don't mess anything up or fuck anything up?" Or like, he saw her as a burden eventually, and like, it was very obvious he didn't make it. Like,
and Lestat subtle warned him that this would happen.
Yeah, he said, "It's just gonna be the biggest mistake of your life. You're gonna regret it," and he didn't want to believe him.
And his life is eternal, so like that's a long regret.
Yeah. It's a long time to regret something.
Really quick, another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Hunter77. But she said, did you see the manacles behind Louis when he confronts Lestat in next week's preview? Armand's dungeon, baby. We're not gonna talk about next week's preview, so we're gonna save that for next week. But I try not to watch the preview for the next episode. I want to be
I like to go in blind.
I do watch the commentary that they talk about of the same episode.
Yeah. But I don't like to watch what's happening. I caught a glimpse of it, but
yeah, I caught a glimpse, but yeah,
I already knew it would be like Louis' revenge story, right? Because we already know.
We already know what he's gonna do. He's gonna
burn it.
Yeah, we already saw. They already teased that the theater is gonna burn down. So
yeah,
but I wonder how you gonna get out those little rocks.
Armand.
Yeah, Armand's gonna free him.
That's because in the original movie, Armand goes to get him after Claudia and Madeline like burn up, and that's when Louis goes on his rampage because Armand saves him.
Do you think it's better or worse? In the movie, it was private, them burning up, right?
I think it was better here.
Yeah, I mean, not better cinematically.
I mean, I think it was more impactful when, because I love both, obviously. I think this Claudia send-off was more impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
And I
because
agree
here's the thing, I feel weirdly,
this show in general, I think is
more impactful.
The show, the movie. I love the movie. The movie was like one of my favorite things growing up as a kid. But this show,
Anne Rice hates that movie.
She does?
But she does? And yeah. She hated Tom Cruise.
I knew Brad Pitt. I knew Brad Pitt hated being.
Brad Pitt hated that movie so much.
Yeah, I think they all hated that movie, including Anne Rice. But she signed off on these changes, and she notoriously
she was part of this. She was part of the show before she died. Yeah,
with her son, and her son still works.
Yeah, her son still works on it.
And I think you could tell, like, it's done with so much care.
It's done with, it's a labor of love, and it's made by people that love the story, both the writers and the actors and the show. Like, everybody loves the story, and you can tell. And
I know it's crazy, and I think that's the divide between this and like House of the Dragon is that, like, not to say that they're not concerned with money and ratings, because obviously they are, but I think for the simple fact that it's on AMC, which is like a lower channel. Yeah. They got creative freedom to be themselves, and to your point, they're not chasing a dollar, and so they're not like, how can we subvert expectation, blah 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 blah. They're like,
let's just tell a damn good story.
Exactly.
Like, and that's what it is.
Is there going to be a season 3?
There is going to be season 3. Absolutely, there's going to be a season 3.
Yeah, season 3 is going to be the Vampire Lestat.
You think Claudia's going to be in this too? I hope so.
I feel like Claudia's going to be in flashbacks.
I think Claudia's probably going to be in flashbacks, or because her line, "I now know all your faces. If there's an afterlife, I'm going to fucking kill you all. If there isn't, I'm still going to figure it out." Like that, I was like, Delaney Hayes, Give her a fucking Oscar. Granted, I know it's TV.
Emmy.
You don't get Oscars. I know.
I was like,
give her an Oscar. I still said give her an Oscar. Like, fuck the rule. Give her an Oscar. Give her an Oscar, an Emmy, a Tony, a Grammy. Give her all, because she sang at the end too. Give her all of it.
Like, the thing too about like Claudia's ending in this iteration of it, I think it was weirdly beautiful. And I don't know how to say that without sounding like a crazy person, because it was very tragic. Yeah, Claudia's a ghost in the books. So she will come back, I feel, but because all
I don't know though.
Was to have somebody be on her side and back her up and choose her. And then you even like Armand, I don't know if I trust his ass, but he was like, you saw in that moment that Claudia kind of accepted like what was going to happen when Madeline chose her. And again, like kind of best case scenario where it's like she's going to be in that 14-year-old body forever, no matter what. And Madeline can love her all she wants. Madeline can love her all she wants as herself. But what's society going to think? What's everybody else going to think? How is she going to live in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? What's Madeline going to do when she's walking around with this 14-year-old for the rest of her life? Like all these things where it's like, it's idealistic to think about in the moment, but like realistically, like Armand said, what are you going to do in 40 years when she throws herself into a fire? Like, because I don't think any kind of thing is going to be comparable to being able to grow up and have a fully grown body.
But even kind of like what Claudia said, or like Madden said, maybe I'm the thing that prevents that from happening. But ultimately, what she was saying is we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. So stop trying to act like you know.
But at the same time, not saying that he's right. If he's seen it enough, what makes Claudia special? Especially if he's already seeing the same traits, right? She's still impulsive. She still has like the worst parts of being 14 amplified. And he's seen plenty of people go crazy. People
also, like
older than
Louis is he was like fully grown 33-year-old man, fully like foreign frontal lobe, and he can't handle it. Homie walked into the sun.
He couldn't even handle being human. So like Louis might not be the right person to
okay, yeah.
But the violinist did it. They kind of imply that most vampires can't handle it.
But yes, and the oldest one I think is like I think Armand or like the one that they know of at this point.
Yeah, because I was like, well, Akasha's still
around, but like do they know of her still? Like, is this relevant right now? Does the Slat know her right now? Like, what's going on? What's the continuity here?
And somebody asked earlier, have we seen Queen of the Damned? I've never seen Queen of the Damned.
A long time ago.
Yeah, the movie.
Oh, it's ass. It's booty butt cheeks. It makes no sense.
Aaliyah eats.
But real quick, Queen.
It is the Catwoman of the vampire.
Real quick, Queen Kania. No, it hasn't been renewed yet, but I think they're waiting for this season to be over because I think if they're gonna go, because the showrunner came out and said season 3 is gonna be the Vampire Lestat, and so I think announcing that to the general public is kind of technically a spoiler. So I think that's why they're waiting before they announce the season 3. But season 3 is coming. Especially they announced like the Tau Masker. They're expanding this universe, and this is the flagship of that universe. So we're getting a season 3. It's just I think they're just going to wait till it's over to prevent that spoiler.
I think they're trying to sell to Netflix. I hope we don't lose. I can't hear you, Amanda.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. But I think that they have a whole immortal universe. They have like season 2 of Mayfair Witches, which I wasn't a fan of Mayfair Witches, but like, but like they have that season 2. They have the Talon Mask coming out. They have like there's gonna be a season 3, and it's also been so successful. Like it's not going anywhere. But they are putting like somebody said in the comments, they're putting the seasons on Netflix.
And this and like this Walking Dead spinoffs are really all AMC has. So like they'd be stupid not to renew it for season 3.
Yeah.
But one thing I kind of, because I know going back to somebody saying that because Ghost Claudia does appear in the books, and so it's more than likely inevitable for that to happen in the show. Part of me is kind of like, I don't know though, because now she's dead. Delaney Hayes is clearly going to age. Like, how do you get past that part? If anything, I doubt she's going to come back next season. I think they might wait a season to have her like. So then it's
she's
gonna be
old enough that it won't be that hard. Like she's not 16. The girl is like 22.
My age.
Is she 25?
She's like I saw her IMDb. Her earliest thing is like 1999. I was born in 97, so she has to be at least like 26.
That's perfect. So she gonna be fine. Yeah, she's 25. I think
25.
she'll be fine in 3 years.
Yeah, I don't think
4 years.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna age significantly in like 3 years, but she
just
reads
saw
very
it.
young.
What's her name? Renee Goldsberry, Angelica Schuyler. I just saw her play a 14-year-old. They put braces on her and changed and did her makeup up.
Yeah,
it was for
Mayfair,
stage. But
Mayfair feels like it was made for non-melanated and Frank fandom. No, it's seasonless.
yeah. It definitely was. It's definitely seasonless. It's like the most blandest turkey I've ever seen. Like I couldn't get past the first 5 episodes. Y'all some children. I was born in 97 too. Ooh, yeah.
Hey. 97, you're Titanic.
But yeah,
here's
so like
James Cameron.
But like that whole trial, like and kudos, like I cannot talk enough and praise enough and give enough accolades to the acting in this episode, especially like the silent acting that was happening between Jacob Anderson and even Delaney Hales when they first saw Armand show, especially more so Jacob Anderson because they focused more on him than they did Delaney. But like you saw the fear in his eyes when he saw Lestat show up. But then you also kind of saw him looking at Lestat like as a hopeful, you know, like, is he going to come to save us? And then you also kind of saw him like, oh, damn, like he looking good. Like, damn, like that's my man. That's my man right there. Like you saw all of that in his eyes and he didn't say a word. Like he didn't even say a word. And then, like the Jacob and not Jacob Anderson, Sam Reed, where he like is giving his lines, but then he would like go off script.
I loved that so much. And then like Santiago,
everyone was like, huh?
He was like, what the hell are we doing? Like he was like, hello? Like
yeah, well, he was just like, I'm about to break the 5th law, like because he's pissing me off.
The infographic is what really was gagging me. First of all, why they draw Louis like that?
I mean,
yeah. Why they draw Louis like that? But I just was thinking about like how they set up that script to go hand in hand with the animation in the back, like the story. So every time he got off script, I was like, "Yo, I feel you. I'd be."
Yeah, remember they had to cut the projection.
They're like, cut the cameras now.
You know how hard it is to do animation in 1946, and you out here fucking with the script. I'll be tight. I'd be.
Oh my god.
Upset.
But yeah, but like that whole thing. But I love the fact that despite all of it, Claudia never begged. She was never scared. She still kept her backbone, even when she was just like, she got up. She was just like, we tried to poison him and he's still alive. So can I cry and apologize and be forgiven too, like y'all doing? Like,
yeah.
And that goes to
I didn't know this was the rules.
Yeah, and that goes to this whole lynching mentality where it's just like
because Lestat tried to say the same thing. Lestat was like, well, I killed a vampire too. And Santiago was like, well, not you.
Yeah, you white. Like, what do you mean? Like, you can't we can't lynch you. You one of us. You a white man.
And even them giving the opportunity to Madeline, right? And being like, you could be one of us.
And here's the thing too, it's like, oh, she's just a bastard vampire that didn't know about her like maker's crimes. And I'm like, what is Claudia then? She's the same thing. And you're only giving like grace.
Well, Claudia
did break
these.
Yeah, Claudia did break a couple rules.
She did. Yeah, she did.
Madeline ain't break no rules.
She did fuck around and find out, but still, like, have a little bit of sympathy. Listen, I have sympathy for Claudia. Okay.
But it almost seemed like they leave that Santiago was keeping Madeline. It seemed like Santiago was keeping Madeline in a trance. That's why she wasn't speaking, because like he kept whispering stuff. And I tried to turn it up and turn the captions on to see what he was saying to her, but it didn't pick.
He was like out of it.
Captions didn't pick it up.
Yeah, they kind of say that he was in all their minds, but Claudia is arguably the weakest person there, and so them being in her mind probably affected her more than everyone else, right? Because Madeline's only been a vampire for like 6 months. Even Claudia was a vampire for like 30, 40 years.
Yeah. And you saw it too with like Madeline disintegrated first.
Yeah, she
Right.
can come to the sun first.
I thought that's because she's weak. She ain't had the stuff. She ain't
Because
had
Well,
the-
that,
knew.
but also
What?
she's so new.
Because she's a newborn vampire, and she like white humans burn in the sun. So like you got.
this is where you go. I'ma holla. I'll see y'all later.
So like you add the fact that she a vampire, of course she burned first. Like
And she's
Because
white, bro.
Armand can go in the sun, right?
yeah, because
Yeah, he
he's been
can.
alive for like 500 plus years. The older you are, the more you're resistant to the sun.
Yeah,
You gotta wait.
he's
I don't know.
500
I don't know what.
years to
I don't
see
know
the
what
sunrise.
age you have. I don't know what age you have to hit because I don't think Lestat can go into the sun.
Like I think you also have to like drink from somebody who can. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Like I think it's one of those things where it's like
because I know I read after Lestat drinks from Akasha, he can go into the sun.
yeah.
In the
Like I
book.
think it's a combination of like being older and like also having the resources of somebody that can.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, all I know.
But
is
we see Louis still burns, even though
yeah,
he
Louis
drinks.
still burns, but Louis also
yeah,
he's not that old. I don't even
at
think
this
he,
point
I don't
he's
even think
over
he
100.
I don't even think he's 100 at this point because he was
Yes,
made
he
in
is.
is he wasn't he made in 1910 and we're in
And it's
1940.
No, he was
2020.
born in the 1800s.
No. It was like 1910. At least in the show, it's 1910.
Yeah, and the show is 1910. So it's right now. Well, in the present, he's over 100. I'm talking about right now because right now it's only the 40s. Oh, what just happened? But yeah, no. Right now it's 1940. So he's only like 30 in terms of being a vampire.
He's in his 60s.
He's in his 60s.
Oh yeah, because he was already 60. He was already 33.
Yeah. So yeah, so he hasn't been a vampire for 100 years yet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah,
no, but
at least-
Louis
but in the
still
present,
burns in
he
the
has
present
been.
too.
Say that again.
Right, that's
Louis
what I'm
still
saying.
burns
He
in the
shows-
present too.
He shows Daniel. He puts his arm out.
Yeah, he still burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how old you got to be. Maybe you got to crack 300.
I think it's what Amanda's saying, that you have to drink on some Demon Slayer rules. You got to drink from whoever got that power.
Whoever got that power. So
Because
but actually no, because I don't think that's right. Because remember, first season he drunk the fuck out of Armand, and he still can't go into the sun.
I think
Maybe
it's a
gotta be
combination.
force.
I think it's both. Like I think it has to be like a certain amount of blood, and I think it has to be like over.
Because remember, he was drinking Armand in front of Daniel for a long time. I was like,
Yo.
and you know when you think about like drinking blood, like that's kind of like a sex. Like they would basically have a sex in front of Daniel.
Oh yeah, that's why it's so funny.
Yeah, and he still can't go into the sun. So I don't know.
He was being really rude in front of Daniel. He was eating a fox very sexually in front of Daniel. I was like, "What's good with
He's
you?" If I was
throwing
Daniel,
shit
I'm like,
now.
"You want me to write or not? Like, what's your deal?"
Yeah, and then like the way he was making, and the way the noise he was making, like he was drinking.
Yo, fast eye contact whole time. He was like, no. I was like, bro.
And before when we knew him as Rashid, he's just staring at Daniel like,
I will say
this isn't weird.
That actor is so good because Rashid and Armand, two different people.
Oh yeah,
different
and
people.
also like I love what they've done to like over time, with like this change of accents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with Louis sounds different present day than he does like in season 1 than he does in season 2.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like he has, when you go back, because I was going back and watch season 1 too, and like you hear more of his Creole, but then when he goes to Paris, it's gone a little bit, and then when you go to the present, it's like you don't really hear it as much.
It's like really thinned down.
In Paris, he probably was trying to sound more French though, right? And he was also trying to protect. I don't know why the fuck they picked Chicago, but he was also trying to protect.
Yeah, what the
people from
fuck? Why didn't they
Chicago.
just pick any other place in the South?
Yeah, he should have picked another southern state.
Because in his head, he sounded non-regional. He said, "Yo, they don't know." Because Santiago, where's he from? I don't think he's European.
He's English, right?
He's English.
Oh, he's English. I thought it was just a fancy accent, like that guy from the.
You thought he was just being transatlantic?
Oh, you think so? I don't think his accent was all over the
No.
place.
No, it's
No.
English. He's English.
He's saying
Wait,
Lestat. Oh,
Lestat's accent was all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think Lestat's accent was all over the
He
place.
always has that thick.
He always has
I
like
don't
the mouthful of marbles effect.
It does, but I like it. I like the marbles.
He says it too, like it was like when he spoke English, it felt like he had a mouthful of marbles. Like
because he's so used to speaking French.
so
When
used
he
to speaking
speaks
French.
is Sam Reed French?
No, he's Australian.
No,
Get the
yeah, he's
fuck out.
Australian.
He's
Yeah,
Australian.
Why he sounds so good?
He's
Australian is the worst
Australian,
English
like down
of all of
under,
us.
like.
but
They
really
got
quick,
the worst accents.
really quick, let's do the housekeeping thing. We got 246 people watching the live across all platforms. So if you could do me a favor, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Twitter, X, whatever y'all want to call it, if you can hit the like button, or if you're watching on Twitter or X, hit the repost button. It'll get the video out there, get the channel out there, and help with the algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching this stream and helping it grow. So again, do that. Hit the like button. Right now, I have 100 people watching on my YouTube channel, so I should have 100 likes. Frankie has 18 people watching on her YouTube channel. She should have 18 likes. She has 53 people watching on her Twitter. She should have 53 likes and 53 reposts. I have 76 people watching. She should have 76 likes and 76 reposts. Do us that favor if you want to help us grow. And then also follow these lovely two human beings, Frankie and Amanda. The links are in the description box below. And if you're watching on Frankie's page, follow me if you don't know who I am. And if you don't, that's homophobic. So let's get back to the episode. Thank you so much for watching. And also thanks for the people that left super chats. So where was I? I don't remember. Where I left off.
Oh, accents, Australians.
Australian accent. Sam Reed French is. Oh no, I'm French, and Sam Reed's French is atrocious. No.
Oh dang! Wait, where's
No.
I can't see the comment. Oh dang! Oh, here it is.
No. Okay, to Americans, he sounds like butter. He's like.
Listen, I don't give a shit if it's terrible.
I've been thinking about learning French because of him and this French singer named Yame. You know, Bowen.
I mean, but we also have to keep in mind, like, at the end of the day, we still got to remember it's still a TV show. So an actor can only do but so much to put on an accent and be as, believable as they can. Like, it's not going to be like if you're a native speaker, it's never going to sound native.
No, because we were dragging Claudia through the mud for her accent.
Why?
Okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. When it
wasn't dragging her. We wasn't dragging.
Maybe not us, but people are dragging Claudia through the mud for her accent. People do it. If you do a British accent bad, people will drag it. So it's butter to us, but the French people, they saying it's ass. We gotta give him the belt. Just like we give everybody else. I get it. We love Lestat, but we gotta be fair.
I'm like, you can't be talking about Sam Reed. Like,
I don't want to be fair.
Like, right, you square up.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, yes, I don't talk about my baby French, maybe.
But yeah, because I'm like, I want to argue with somebody in French. Like the way when they was arguing, like, in season one, I was just like,
I want to. Oh my god, I love hearing French people yell at each other. It sounds so visceral. They're like,
oh my god, Mark Ruffalo.
His British accent was terrible in Poor Things. But I loved his character.
He was so funny.
I loved his character. He was funny, so I let it go. I let it slide.
It was
and the show is called, and the movie is called Poor Things. So he had a poor accent. Yeah.
British. Word to Wakanda. They weren't in England in Poor Things. They were in the fictional world.
True. But you know how movie, anytime it's something, every time it's some like fictional ethereal world, they always go to a British accent. They tried to do that. Chadwick Boseman, they always tried to rest in peace. They talked about they wanted to give the Wakandans a British accent, and he was like, absolutely not. Like he had to fight them.
They barely had an accent. Why was they rolling so many R's? Whatever be rolling their R's like they speak in Spanish.
I mean,
I know that's pretty.
It's Wakanda. It's not. But yeah,
that's what they say.
But he had to fight them just to be able to like get some type of African dialect somewhere.
I agree.
As opposed to just doing British. So we got to forgive Sam Reed a little bit. Like,
which is just crazy. British English just got high. Like old British English was terrible. Huh?
It's a fake accent.
Yeah, they try to be fancy. That's Elizabeth. Beth up in our ear. Before then, they was talking crazy.
But facts,
Yeah.
like I love them. Like, granted, I'll be sad to see Louis take a back seat.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm ready for more Lestat.
Yo, Lestat suit, that's the real MVP, that Taylor.
Yeah. Okay.
That thing was
And not just that, but he had the pinstripe socks too. Like,
yeah,
snatched waist. Like,
I said, where he get that in New Orleans? He got that shit in France. He said, "Yo," he said, "Can we schedule this for tomorrow? Because my tailor said he got one more thing he would have added. I got one more fit in before this show."
yeah, because he said, "Why did you come here?" I'm like, he went to his tailor first. Like the fact that he was able to he curled his hair before stepping on stage.
He got fresh highlights.
Was it you who was talking about, Amanda? You did a video a long time ago about who does Sylvie highlights.
Oh yeah, it was me.
You be on the highlights. You be like,
I stay on highlights.
I've been wondering that about Star Wars too. I was like, now that we've had so many Black characters, I need a hair care store on Tatooine or Tutu, whatever.
Like your Fandra. Who did his Killmonger locks?
Your May, Osha, what was that girl, the Sith?
Shit, I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about from Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name.
The braid.
Yeah, with the braid. I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember her name. Somebody in the chat, do y'all know?
Yeah, y'all know. Everybody but Mace had their hair done. And I was like, at this point.
But it also kind of reminds me of like Arrow. Every time what's his face, Mr. Terrific will go off, he would have like a pro.
But that's Mr. Terrific. The T-Spheres did that.
Okay. No, not Ahsoka. But yeah, Obi-Wan. She was like one of the third. Yeah, she was the third sister.
Don't make me go on IMDb, please.
Reva. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. I wish we could super chat them back and give her $1. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
Because I be feeling like I'm copping out when I go to IMDb, right? Like I want to figure it out myself before I do that.
But yeah, like this episode, then we get to the sentencing and we find out they gave Claudia the choice, live or die. And it was at this moment, out of everybody in that room, all those white vampires, the vampires of color, finally somebody put Claudia first. And that was Madeline. And the sad reality, the only person that put Claudia first was the first to also die.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. I think some of it too, not saying she doesn't care about it's not saying that she doesn't care about Claudia. I think Madeline also saw them for what she was, and she was like, I'm not trying to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Because this is what my life has been. My entire life has been this, and I would never join y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, she cares for Claudia. She's like, I ride, I die for her. But I also think a piece of that, too, was her being like, y'all whack. Why would I do this? Why would I look at y'all and know that y'all killed my love? Because they were full-on companions at this time, right?
Yeah, and
she could have taken the easy way out. Even Claudia was like nodding to her, like, take the deal. Yeah.
Why would you?
Like, no, I'm sorry. What?
Would you too? First,
no.
I would never feel safe with them.
I would
never. But at least she could probably have the opportunity to like take and then maybe figure out some way to run.
No, I'm a guy with dignity. I've been running my whole life. She's been running her whole life.
She's been ridiculed and shit. Like she became a vampire because like that was again like her best case scenario. Nobody wanted her either. Like it was basically just like two people that were just very similar in a really shitty situation, and like at the end all they had was like each other, and it was sad.
And yeah, I think that's also why they connected. They're like, we're both misfits who's never been wanted and who lost their family. And so like I think that's a big source of connection for the two of them. They both seen tragedy. They
both lost their families.
Yeah, and they both never truly felt love, right?
And chosen.
Or chosen.
Like they, and then the thing too is like they like even Madeline, she was like, "Oh, if you turn me into a monster, you just be turning me into what I already am." So like she already viewed herself as like
how people already treat me.
Yeah, well, she said actually like you'd be turning me into what I already am. Like that's how she already sees herself.
Yeah, we know there's no Jim Crow in Paris. We said that.
We said that earlier.
I don't think he was. I don't think he's saying it. I think he's probably like, "What do you mean? There's no Jim Crow in Paris? Y'all don't know." It's like, but no, there wasn't.
He's saying there was no. I think he's probably earlier. He's watching earlier. He just maybe I don't know. He'll find out when he gets to the section where we say,
I don't know, maybe
Louis wasn't feeling Jim Crow in Paris.
But like, I think what makes them so tragic is like, yeah, they chose each other for the most part, because like, yeah, she was used to being persecuted and getting swastikas drawn on her window, but here you had this.
She did fuck a Nazi though.
She did.
I'm not saying she deserved it. One swastika.
But if I remember, did she say? I think she said she didn't. Did she say she knew? Did she know?
You gotta be vigilant.
She did know. Her excuse was that like she wasn't looking at him as a Nazi. She was looking at him as like just a 19-year-old that wanted to get a nut in before he died, which like
that's worse.
I don't know.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I don't know what to say about
somebody else. Dang, so she deserved it.
I'm not saying she deserved it.
I don't think she deserved it.
She didn't deserve her store getting torn down or like her being like sexually assaulted. No. Did she deserve a quick spray paint swastika?
Yeah, that like because she also didn't do any of the like Yahtzee-isms.
Nah, you sleep.
Nah,
if
she
you
just
were in
did
my
it.
neighborhood and you were sleeping with a KKK member, I'm drawing swastikas on your business. Brad Pitt was.
I'm not saying that was the problem, but I'm saying the way she went out, I don't know if she deserved that.
And her neighbors were starving because of the Nazis, and like Paris was in a terrible thing.
Yeah.
I did see that too. That like anyone who helped the Nazis, I read
well,
an article.
She literally said you would just be turning me into what I already am. Like
she knew, and that's the thing. Like everyone's a villain in this. Our protagonists, they're all villains.
They're serial killers, guys. They're all serial killers.
That's why he was talking that chaotic good. I was like, she's just like, bad.
Where?
Everybody's bad. We just like them. And so they don't feel like villains to us. But I think even Madeline, for her to even open the possibility of dating Claudia, regardless of how she knew she was 17 or not, just her overall demeanor was kind of hinting that she was not a good person. She's a loyal person. She has resolve. But is she good? No, she's going to hell. All of them going to hell. They know.
They all going to hell.
You know, hopefully hell is lit a little bit.
Hopefully hell is. Well,
that's what Biggie said.
I don't know about all that, but I like how she flipped them off at the end. But real quick, let me address. Ray Stone said it's crazy to me how people need Louis to be a perfect victim in order for him to be perceived as one. I don't necessarily think, at least us. I can't speak for anybody else, but at least us. I don't think that's what our contention with Louis is, because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as a perfect victim. We are criticizing Louis because he himself makes it seem like he's a perfect victim. He himself makes it seem like everything that's happened around him was stuff that's done to him, but none of it. He takes any accountability for his part. He takes no accountability for his part. And it wasn't until this episode. It wasn't until this episode that he finally was like, "Oh, I've always tried to deny my part in these, and like what happened with Claudia, or my hand in this thing." So it's not to say that Louis hasn't been abused. That Louis abused? What the fuck is that? Louis hasn't been abused. Louis hasn't been a victim. But the point is, he tries to make himself seem way better than he actually is.
He comes off high and mighty, and he's not the good guy that he tries to come off as. Like, you ain't good just because you ate cats for a couple of years, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Because you still want to eat people and killing people in between, or even like
you still turned a man into a Christmas ornament in front of everybody, like.
And it didn't help out the people. There's a comment here that says, so if someone hooks up with a murderer, that makes them guilty too. Yes, if they knowingly hooks up with, and they're not just a murderer, they're Nazis. They're actual Nazis. Like, yes, if you hook up with someone that you know is objectively bad,
you knowingly know they like that makes you kind of complicit.
That makes you
Yes.
complicit at best, and that's not good.
Like
And this is
even
during
Daniel,
World War II.
even Daniel kind of brings up that point in episode 5 with the idea where that guy Malik showed up and he was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And he was like, "Oh, he's about to hunt this motherfucker and basically kill him." He was like, "So you just made me an accomplice to murder because now I know this." So he himself didn't commit the murder. He has nothing to do with it. He's still human, but he's still complicit in the murder now because, granted, obviously we know from like a real world perspective, we're like, what can he do? But he's still technically complicit in that murder.
But like that's the thing where it's like Louis is like, and that's the thing too. It's like things are not black and white. Like I love Louis's character. I also hope that he knows how to fight. Because I would fight him on sight if given the chance. But like that's the thing where it's like he's a brilliantly done character. He's multifaceted. He's also nuts. He's batshit, and I think it's okay to say that, and also acknowledge that bad things have happened to him, and also acknowledge that he's faced racism, and also acknowledge that he was a pimp, and also acknowledge that he threatened to cut off his husband's head and feed it to a lion and watch it go down the river. Like,
and for me, I think with Louis, or the reason why I'm upset with Louis is I feel betrayed. You know what I mean? Like I vouch for you, Louis. I was out here hating, pretending like I didn't like Lestat for you. It turns out, yeah, mutually destructive. You're not that much better. And yes, I think in this case, the point is everyone is a victim. Some people may have been victimized more than others, but everyone's a victim. Even Claudia, who I believe is a victim of the story. There are a lot of people in that world who would love to see Claudia burn. There are a lot of families
because they were victimized by her.
Yeah, she put last words of kids that said, "Please don't kill my dog."
Yeah,
she killed children.
Yo, she just killed 5 starving Parisians.
Yeah,
when she, you know what I'm saying? Like so,
like these characters, like again, like Armand. Armand had a really dark past, and horrible things happened to him, and he still does some manipulative, terrible shit. And same thing.
Going back to earlier, like all the body parts that Claudia brought home, those are people's family, like mothers, fathers, like
She took that little boy.
The little boy that she killed, trying to turn into a vampire. Like
and she did that multiple times.
She tried it multiple times. Yeah,
she killed multiple people's kids trying to have a companion.
So it's not about being a perfect victim, but like kind of like what you said, Claudia is the most honest of all of them.
She's at least for real.
Yeah,
she's for real. Yeah, for real.
Doesn't try to pretend that she's something she's not.
But with this Pink Cloud, I think a lot of people, not y'all, are uncomfortable with how Louis' blackness changes the context of the show. And the reason I want to bring this up, because I think the blackness makes this show and this world and these characters better. Like, honestly, it's to the point that I'm not even interested in reading the books because it's not the same. It's not the same.
He like part of, I think, is it Lestat or Louis is a plantation owner?
Oh, Louis.
Louis
owned
he's a plantation owner. And like the moments of like him putting up the no whites only sign, like, which is something I loved. Like that was cool. And like, it just changes a lot of the dynamics of the show. Like, yes, I get the skeleton and the main framework is still the same, but a lot of the organs and the heartbeat and the skull, like the brain, all of that, it's completely different. And I'm loving the differences of the show more than I'm loving the actual skeleton of it.
And that's why I tell people, I'm like, don't talk that book talk in here. The book is so different.
It is so
different. Motivations, like what people are thinking. The simple fact that Louis is black changes
so much.
Everything,
it changes
almost.
so much. Yeah, I agree. And like even Claudia dying because of an effect of what Louis, instead of having what she had, the flu or something before, like she was dying.
She was dying of like the plague, and then Louis drained her, and Lestat basically took her right before she died and turned her.
Right, and he did it like to repair their, like Lestat
to repair their, because Louis was gonna leave. And so he saw that he had basically mostly drained this girl, so he turned her to make Louis stay.
Exactly. So that in itself is so very different than like Claudia dying because of something Louis did.
Louis caused.
that Louis caused, and then him begging Lestat versus like Lestat doing it like, look, we got a baby now.
Surprise,
Stay with
Sade!
me. Yeah. Surprise, I'm pregnant.
And then getting to see this black family dynamic in the 19, and then like also the dynamics and the power dynamics that come into play with the relationship between Lestat and Louis. Like, they might both be on the same playing field in terms of wealth, but the fact that Louis a black man and Lestat's a white man, and that still puts him on a higher.
And that was a point of contention in their relationship early on.
Even when they went to like the theater together as partners, as lovers, as a married couple, he had to pretend to be like his butler or whatever.
Also, can I say the confirmation that the church scene was definitely a wedding? I was so happy because I made a video about how like one of my favorite tropes is like a wedding that's not a wedding, but it's definitely a wedding. And then when they basically were like, no, full stop, it was a wedding. I was like,
it's definitely a wedding.
I was like, it's a
wedding.
Yeah.
Like, bro, church, altar, priest, kiss, hello. Like
the priest was a little dead.
Well, they're still there, witnesses.
You're like
the spirits were there somehow.
The energy was there.
The energy was there.
Yeah.
Because of those differences, makes because people keep saying, "Oh, you never read the books. How you talking about the show? Read the book." You know how people do sometimes when it comes to books.
I love the show
like
too.
And granted, book readers, yada yada yada. I love y'all, yada. But it's like some people that like a lot of them be hella entitled.
Oh,
you ain't read the books. You ain't read the book. It's like I'm not talking about the book. I'm talking about the show. Fuck the book. Like if you want to discuss the book, I'm pretty sure there are content creators talking about the book. Go follow and go.
But no, there aren't, because the book and the show, just like The Boys, like people are like, you didn't read the comics. I'm like, I did. Why would I bring it up? It's so different.
It's so
different. And so to like analyze this show and refer to the books is doing a disservice to what they're telling us in the show. Because to our points, there's so many fundamental changes. It's not like just Louis was black and they just painted him black. Like everything is very, very different. The Boys is something at this point they're just using the IP.
But even like Civil War, like I've read Civil War in Marvel Comics, but like that's the Civil War in the Marvel wasn't the movie. Like
the Age of Ultron.
Yeah, Age of Ultron. Like none of that was in the comic. And then it's like, and I'm not saying like this is all book readers and things like that, but like they get like even Invincible is different than the comic a little bit. But it's like, but then people will like to spoil stuff like, oh, wait till such and such and such happens from the book or whatever.
I hate that shit. And that's why I barely talk about some stuff unless I've already seen it.
It's like, thanks for spoiling. Like even Dune, you talk about Dune. Oh, Dune is like such as, it's like, in the second part of Dune, it's like, okay, thanks for spoiling the movie for me. Like, can I enjoy the shit for myself?
Like,
yeah, that's why I stopped talking about anime.
I stopped talking about anime
because I can't get peace. And I love anime. Kaiju number 8 is incredible. I want to break that down, but I don't want to be ruined. I'm not up to date on the manga. And so I'm like, if I start talking about Kaiju number 8, they're going to ruin it for me. And anime, I'm like, these adaptations be like 1-to-1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, so they meet the sun. Claudia and Madeline meet the sunlight, and Madeline is the first one to die. And now Claudia is surrounded by nothing but a room full of her abusers. And that's all she sees before she dies. And we see that the last person that she looks towards is Lestat. And this comes from Delaney herself. And she said the reason that she looked at Lestat last is because out of everybody, and this is an interview that came out after the show released, she was like, because out of everybody in that room, Lestat is the only person that she kind of trusts. Lestat is the only person that's familiar to her. And also, despite the fact that she hates Lestat, at the end of the day, that's still her dad. That's still Daddy Lestat. And so that's her looking at him in those final moments, pleading and asking and hoping that he's still going to help her. And that comes from Delaney herself.
And that's also like the only other familiar person in the room because they dragged Louis away.
Yeah, because they dragged Louis away.
So he was the only one left is connected to Louis too.
And so, damn. Even after she said that, because Jacob Anderson was right next to her when she was when it was a written interview, so it wasn't a video, but like they quoted Jacob. He was like, "Oh, Delaney, that's so sad."
Yeah, it is very sad.
It is. It's very sad. But yeah, so she dies. She sings, "I don't like windows when they're closed" the whole time, and and Armand's like, she died with a smile on her face, and I'm just like, damn, Armand. I was like, Armand, you ain't shit. Like, catch me outside, Armand. Like,
Armand, I hope you know how to fight. Louis, I hope.
Right, I'm like, I hope you know how to fight because I'm gonna fuck you up after like. This marriage, I don't think this marriage is granted. I know I said,
oh no, I think
this marriage ain't making it past this whole thing. Yeah, even though Louis knew this happened already, but now that he's reliving it and things like that, I don't think their marriage is making it past next week's episode.
Interesting.
I think they're gonna break up. I think they're gonna break
unless
up.
Louis got another man lined up.
Do you think Lestat is gonna be?
He gonna get with Daniel.
Do you think Lestat's gonna be like back?
I think Lestat's gonna show up in the present.
Okay.
Because I mean, we also kind of teased it when we saw this was the first time we saw him hallucinate him in the present.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but his eyes were different when he hallucinated him in the present. His eyes were purple. His eyes are normally like green. No, his eyes are normally blue.
Blue. They're blue.
Lestats?
Yeah, Lestat's are normally blue, but go back and watch when he saw him in the present day, his eyes were purple. And so I'm like,
I did not see that. I need to rewatch it.
Did he maybe see Lestat recently and now like he knows what his eyes look? Because why were they purple all of a sudden?
Why would they change?
Why are they changing?
No, remember, there's a lot of red lighting in that.
No, his eyes were purple. So I'm like, is that a hint to like the whole Akasha thing? So I was wondering. I was like, that was kind of interesting because they don't do shit on TV or by chance.
Yeah.
So like the fact that there was that because even when he was hallucinating Dreamstat, his eyes were still blue. But in that future flashback, his eyes were purple. Go back for everybody that didn't know. Go back and rewatch, and you'll see his eyes were they were purple. So, but yeah, so he saw. Delaney died, and Lestat and Louis got trapped away, and like and kudos to like the score, like the whole moment where they was like, "What do you the sentence for Louis?" And they were like, and then, like. Armand pulled a full Professor Xavier.
Do you think
he got fucking power? You mean to tell me he couldn't do that for Claudia or Madeline? Banishment, whatever. Like it took all my strength. Get the fuck out of here.
They were gonna go down the line.
The fuck out.
So I think he probably could have, but again, if he had triggered something, they probably would have killed Louis before he could have saved him.
He could have set the place on fire to like end the trial, like, and everybody would have ran out.
But they couldn't run.
They couldn't run. Like.
They cut their Achilles.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but like, I still don't buy.
Did he drag all of them out?
I still think Armand. I don't trust him. I don't trust him.
I get it. We don't like Armand. I feel that, but like I said, everybody bad.
I like him, but I don't think that twin could have done anything.
But so yeah, he got banished. He got locked. He got locked in the thing, and of course, we know he's gonna get out because clearly we see him in the present.
I don't know why, but those small rocks.
It gives you like trypophobia.
Yeah, like I was like, why the rocks so small? Why they put them?
No, because they're gonna get everywhere.
Yeah,
they're gonna get like.
But to be fair though, and it's almost kind of like where they like put him in the rocks and they said this is a trap. If you remember correctly, when we go to episode 5, those rocks are still there because remember, like it's still kind of like a coffin because remember he put his feet in those rocks.
To ground himself. That's probably because of this. Yeah.
And so I'm like, and remember he kind of said, like, this is my coffin. Look at Amanda. And she's like,
oh my God.
But yeah, so the episode ended when Claudia's dead, Louis trapped, and why Santiago picked up Claudia's dress and like twirled around. I was like, oh, he needs to die. He needs to die.
He's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
And then leaving Madeline stuff.
Yeah, leaving Madeline's there. He just picked up Claudia's.
Madeline's fit was whack, though. I'm not gonna hold you.
There's a. I know you said you didn't watch the preview, but it's like, oh, do you want to know what we did with her ashes? And I'm like, oh my god, like the disrespect. I can't.
Don't.
But yeah, but I meant granted, I still, even though it was terrible, I'm like, oh, fucking kill Santiago. But I was just like, I love him. Like
Do the thing that they did in the
That's
movie.
what I'm saying.
Are they gonna come in with the scythe? Is he gonna come in with the scythe?
I don't know, but I was like, he is a goon. Like that was like so, and because nobody was there when he did it, but I was just like, that was like the pettiest moves. But I'm also kind of like, but where'd they do? Like, where'd they put Lestat? Did they lock him up too?
Maybe he left.
Because when they show the like preview of like, I didn't watch all of it, but like when Lestat or Louis confronts Lestat, it looked like Lestat was like in in the sewer, like cowering, like I don't know. But anyway, we'll worry about that later. But that's how the episode ended. It was tough. Justice for Claudia. Justice.
R.I.P. Claudia. You would have.
R.I.P. Claudia. R.I.P. Madeline. Y'all
formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, y'all deserve better. But yeah, this episode was perfect television. Perfect television. I can't. Like I said, even watching House of Dragon, I was just like, this is good, but like.
I think it's also
like interview with the vampire though, like
they're just again like I feel like they're just free to tell like a damn good story without having to worry about like, oh my god, this ginormous franchise that's been giant forever. Like
even the boys, I'm loving the boys, but I'm just like, but interview with the vampire though.
That I think are apples and oranges. You know what I mean?
I mean, they're all different, but I'm just talking about the quality. Like this still like this show is like peak television. I don't foresee anything coming out this year that's gonna surpass this show.
Penguin.
Yeah.
Nah. No.
Be haters if y'all want.
Nah. I'm not saying it's not gonna be good. Oh, here she go with the DC.
Be haters if y'all want.
I forgot who I was talking to for a second. That's why I stopped talking.
It's probably gonna be good. I don't see it surpassing this show.
We'll see.
We'll see.
And let's not sleep on. Let's not make it. We're gonna go. TV has been TVing.
TV has been TVing. Yeah.
Lately.
That's what I'm saying. Like My Adventures with Superman is great. The Boys is great.
The Bear coming out.
I mean, Severance. Is Severance coming out this year? Is that coming out this year?
It's coming out next week.
Okay. I didn't know that.
He said, let's not. That's right.
Nah.
Let's not. I get it. We feeling it. I feel you.
We'll see. We'll see.
6 months in.
We do. We do watch. We do watch My Adventures with Superman.
Parties every week in my Discord.
Fallout is great. I'm not saying there's not other great TV shows. I'm just saying Interview with the Vampire is here. Every other show is down here. So yeah, Fallout might be here, but it still ain't here or like.
Nah, Fallout's like here. If we put in,
I'm just saying, but like, everything else is down. But yeah, Fallout was good too. I enjoy Fallout. House of the Dragon. I love House of the Dragon. I'm liking My Adventures with Superman, but I'm just like. Anyway. Yeah. When it's over, I'm gonna just have to curl up in the ball, kind of like when X-Men ended. I was just like, damn, what am I gonna do on Wednesdays?
I still have to finish the last 3 episodes of X-Men, but I'm gonna do what I did for the first season of Interview and just rewatch. I'm so sorry, like every single overstimulating thing is happening at the same time when I'm trying to talk. So if I'm like pausing too much, that's why. Somebody's horn's going off. I need them to stop. But like I think I'm just gonna do what I did with the first season, just rewatch it like 4 times.
That's my favorite.
Somebody commented. They said, "Let me get that Discord," so I had to drop.
Yo, come on, definitely go and follow me. This is perfect because I definitely have to go. Y'all follow me everywhere at Fantastic Frankie FRANK.
I need to make a Discord.
You do, or at least be active in mine. The fuck, but we lit in my Discord. It is fun. We do watch parties. We have a comic book club. We have like 15 channels for everything under the sun, from sports to music, and we have a really good time. It's a very fun space, and like we like to talk shit, but we do it respectfully. So definitely pull up. I was supposed to leave like 15 minutes ago,
but yeah, we ended right now. So yeah, next week We definitely gonna see Louis pull Daenerys after the death of Missandei. He gonna snap both in the past and the present. But yeah, guys, we're gonna be here next week. We had to do this live on because generally I do it on like Tuesday or Wednesday. But after this episode, I was like, nah, we can't wait. We need to go live like immediately today. So thank you guys for joining. I don't have a Twitch. I think Frankie has a Twitch, but I don't have a Twitch.
Everywhere. Fantastic, Frankie. But I'm all on YouTube. I think this time next week I'll be monetized. I have 100 hours left. Between this and it's a week behind that it calculates, so I should be.
So yeah, you got to join us next week too to push you up.
Push me up. I'm very excited. So I'll see, and we're gonna have so much to talk about at the ending. I already know. There's no way.
But yeah, so with that, join us next week. Maybe we'll do a Monday again. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know because no, I don't know. Whatever, we'll figure it out. So hit the bell notification button. So when I post the live notice, you'll be alerted. And so yeah, next week the season finale of Interview with the Vampire. It's gonna be tough. So with that, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't in the stream and everything like that. Watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. And we are out. Peace.